Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently still here on the daily chart. We start on the daily chart pretty much in the middle of this descending price channel. Looks a bit like a broadening wedge. It's got plenty of space to both sides, and the yellow scenario, which we could have started here, or the C wave could have started recently, that projects down to around about 45.5K. Does it mean we have to get there? Is it an absolute prediction? No, far from it. But we had and have some short-term bearish setups, which, however, at the moment lack a little bit of follow-through. We saw a little bit of downside on the weekend. As you know, I was skeptical about the impulsive potential to the downside because it was too choppy. I want to talk about that on the smaller time frame. Therefore, we also see today a little bit of a recovery, but that's not enough to invalidate the bearish setups, and it's also not enough to let's say reduce or eliminate the damage that was done. So it has not reduced or eliminated the damage. It's just a bit choppy, which means we always have to be ready for potential changes in count, if there is no follow through. But we will talk about that on the smaller time frame. Bigger picture, nothing has changed. Okay, the yellow wave count still projects to the downside, and it is highly likely can easily be invalidated. That wouldn't be a surprise. We are basically moving in the middle of this range, and there is plenty of space to the upside of the range. There is plenty of space to the downside of the range. So we just have to be a bit patient. We cannot be, in my opinion, clearly bullish for a rally to new all-time highs until we get all 5 waves completed here in circle 1, probably into the mid 70K region actually. Once we get these 5 waves completed, ideally we get a wave 2 pullback, which could send us back into the current price region for a setup for a third wave rally, maybe then in the 80 or 90K region. However, that doesn't mean you have to wait to make a trade, right? I mean, at the moment we are sort of not very deep in support, but if you see this rally, okay, we had a decent pullback. I mean, you can always go long with a stop below the last low. We just don't have clear probabilities. Now, it would get more clearly bullish if the bearish count as it is, the yellow scenario, will get invalidated. And I will talk about that on the smaller time frame now. So let's go to the smaller time frame chart. This is it. Here we can see in the white wave count here, this bullish scenario where we have a wave 1, we have a wave 2, and then 3, 4, 5. This white wave count is, in my opinion, speculative for various reasons. The first reason is the initial rally is clearly in 3 waves. So the entire move up could only be a diagonal. Then we have this overshooting B wave, or you can also call it an X wave if it's a WXY. That doesn't matter so much. It's an overshooting corrective wave, which in a wave 2 is rare in itself. Okay, and then this decline, it doesn't really look like a clear corrective wave. It looks impulsive, the first part, right? So we have to be a bit flexible there. Of course, technically, until we break below the 5th of August low, this 1-2 setup will remain on the chart. But due to the 5 wave move down here, and there was one here, I think there was one here as well, the bear count, or the short-term bearish count, is not overall bearish. It doesn't take us definitely into a bear market, but it's short-term bearish and a setup down into the 40K region. It keeps us on our toes and is a warning. But this count, in my view, clearly stays in control until we break above the wave 2 high that formed on Thursday at around 61,150. But even then, a larger wave 2 could be unfolding, and it would require a break above 63,420 to make also the larger wave 2 less likely, which means this is the level from where the bulls will start to get in control. Then a break above 65K will increase bullish momentum, right? And will completely invalidate the direct bearish setup. It could still be a B wave. There's always a B wave. That's the thing. Well, that's why I said we need 5 waves, okay? Because as long as it's only 3, it could always be a B wave. That's, however, not the same like a 1-2 setup to the downside. The B wave just shows us potential. It could be a high B wave as long as we only have 3 waves. B waves can even overshoot. But if we have really a first 5 wave move down, followed by a 3-wave corrective rally. That is rather bearish short term. It can always be invalidated. As you know, enough long setups get invalidated, right? That's what happens in a downtrend. So here, if we are still in an uptrend and the bulls are still leading, they will invalidate that bearish setup. It just gives us the key levels, and it tells us when the probabilities start to shift towards the white wave count. But for me, the yellow one is slightly more likely at the moment. But please note that within this entire range, the probabilities are very dynamic. So if we see something that aligns more with the white wave count and the guidelines of the bullish wave count are, or let's say the white wave count fulfills more Elliott wave guidelines suddenly, then then the white count is leading. It is what it is. That's why we have to stay flexible. That's normal, okay? That's normal. We have a break above the trend line. That's something noteworthy. However, it's not bullish as such. Okay, it could indicate, okay, maybe we go a little higher. The market has certainly broken out of this structure. So short term, the bulls plan to go higher, but we haven't even taken out a previous swing high. So the reason why this move down here is so choppy, in my view, is because Bitcoin is working through a series of 1-2 setups. So it can be a bit choppy, but as soon as we break below this swing low here that formed on Thursday the 15th, an acceleration of the downtrend should occur. But yeah, I mean, micro counts can always change easily, right? So this might be invalidated, whatever, or it might change a little bit. But I gave you the key levels that really matter. I mean, nothing down here does really matter as such for the analysis. It's just noise. Okay, so if we go a little higher, go into that resistance area, yep, it might reset this wave too. But where really I think the bulls will start to get back in control is with a break above 63,420. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.